Good morning, YouTube. Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to talk about annotating an invoice for ungating for Amazon. And this is pretty much a very specific topic here. It stemmed from a friend of mine asking me if I could help her out with an invoice, and doing some research this morning and just not really finding a whole lot of videos on this topic. There are a couple out there, but I wanted to mock up an invoice for her as an example on how I would go about annotating an invoice or submitting an invoice for Amazon. And after doing all of that, I thought, geez, I better share this with the rest of you. So welcome to this video. I hope you guys are having a great day, and if this video helps you out at all, please give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel out. It is Tuesday, the 15th of June. I like to say the date, 2021, because things change with Amazon. So if you're watching older videos, or let's say maybe 6 months, a year goes by, there could be things that are not applicable in videos like this anymore. So let's get started. So in this video, I'm going to try and point out some of the pitfalls that I have seen other people get hung up on, some of the major ones. I've been doing this for several years now. I have used invoices to get ungated in several things, but let's start at the beginning here. Invoices are not receipts. If your paperwork says packing slip, if it says receipt, if it says anything but invoice, it's not going to work if Amazon wants an invoice. For ungating purposes, they are looking for invoices. If you are just trying to prove chain of custody, receipts can work in certain situations with Amazon, but in this video, we are talking specifically for ungating, and you need a piece of paper that says invoice. Nothing else will work. Everything on the invoice has to match your Amazon account. So, ladies, and possibly some others out there, if your name does not match, it needs to. So maybe you are, a husband-wife team, and one is ordering from the wholesaler and the other one has the name in the Amazon account. It's got to match. So if your husband buys it or your spouse buys it and the name doesn't match, not going to happen. If you've recently gotten married and one name has changed and the other has not, it's not going to work. If the addresses don't match up exactly, it's not going to work. You see where I'm going with this? It's not going to work unless if it's matched up. For the ASIN, the picture, description, quantity, size, color, everything with the ASIN is got to match up with the description on the invoice. If the ASIN is for a 3-pack and Amazon wants you to have at least 10, show an invoice showing for 10 items, that's going to be 10 times 3 or 30 singles to make that listing. I see this happen quite a bit. Somebody will buy 10 of something and it's a 5-pack. Well, really, you've only shown Amazon that you bought enough for 2, right? You got to do the math there and buy accordingly. Now, if the item that you're purchasing from the wholesaler is a multi-pack or whatnot, then that's okay. But if it's for singles and you're trying to do a multi-pack on Amazon to get ungated with, you need to do the math and buy accordingly. You need to make this all so that the dumbest person on earth, and we all have that person in our head, don't we? The dumbest person on the earth can understand this. You've got to make it idiot-proof, and then you've got to make it even easier. So don't think Amazon is going to try and decipher your handwriting. They're not going to try and look things up. They're not going to try and make sure anything is good. They're not really on your side. Not that they're not on your side, but you got somebody on the other end that is just going to flip through these applications. And if they have to do any minute piece of work for it, they're just going to click deny, auto deny, and move on with their day. They are paid to go through these, and they have quotas or whatever their job requirements are, and it's to go through fast and efficient and not spend time trying to work things in your favor. They're just going to kick it back and make you do it again. I'm going to show you here how to annotate an invoice for Ungating in kind of 4 different ways. I have seen kind of all of these done, but also I would say the 5th one is not to annotate at all. I have submitted invoices for Ungating and not annotate at all. I mean, you may as well. It's less work. So, submitting the invoice and seeing if it's got everything there, and mine usually do, and I get ungated right away. The last 2 that I have submitted, I did not annotate at all. But let's say you do that and it gets kicked back for whatever reason. This is where this video comes in. I'm going to go through a bunch of little ins and outs to try and help you figure out why it's getting kicked back. The first example is digitally highlighted. Some say that digitally works better than by hand, and some say that hand highlighting and annotating works better than digitally. One thing to note, all of the invoices that I'm showing you are invoices that I did, it's one invoice that I did up several ways back from 2019. So it is something that I really did purchase back in 2019. And I have photoshopped it for purposes of this video. I couldn't find an example invoice out there to pull from the internet for this video, so I just made my own. Mine has been photoshopped. Do not Photoshop anything ever that you send into Amazon. It will result in an account suspension for life. I have heard people of paying $5,000 to $15,000 to get out of that, to get unsuspended for life, but it is a pain in the butt. You do not want to borrow your friend's documents. Don't buy one from some guru on the internet. Don't try and adjust it yourself with Photoshop. I mean, you'll see obviously where I photoshopped it here, and I'm not trying to pull one over on you guys. But even with the best photoshopping skills, don't do it. Amazon has robots, and those robots are going to be better than you every day. Okay, so the first one is going to be digitally highlighted. The second one is hand highlighted and scanned with a document scanner. I use Dropbox. I use it for work every week. Really, Dropbox is one of those free apps that is great for scanning documents. I use it for tax stuff. I use it for my CPA stuff. I use it to submit applications for wholesale. I mean, I just use it all the time. The third one is just taking a picture of a hand highlighted one. And I did take a picture through Dropbox just because I was in that app, but you can take a picture with whatever your phone camera is. And then the last one is a scanned document through Dropbox again, but what I did was instead of highlighting, I numbered it, and then I'm going to show you how to number it and submit that to Amazon. The other thing I was going to say here is if you are submitting your documents in JPEG format, I've heard that PNGs are better. So if you think everything is perfect, try changing it from a JPEG to a PNG. And if you have any insight on that, I'd love to know down below. Like I said, I can just tell you what the rumors I hear are, for a suggestion on changing things. But I've never really had a problem, and I think all mine have been PNGs. This is what Amazon is currently asking for purchase invoices for a particular brand this morning I applied for. So this is fresh from this morning. Different things may have something different. This is pretty standard right here. I want to say with DVDs and maybe some other things, this could look slightly different, but you're going to need to follow these all together. Now, I have not omitted pricing information in the last 2 or 3 invoices that I've submitted. It does say optional, so it'd probably be the least thing that I would think that something's getting kicked back for. Show the combined purchase of at least 10 units. That's where that math comes in. If your ASIN is a 3-pack and you're selling singles, you're going to need to have your invoice have 30 on there. Your name and address, and the date have to be in line with what Amazon is requiring. So if your invoice is getting old, don't go and Photoshop that date to bump it up a little bit. You need to create, get a new invoice, a fresh invoice. So all of these things have to be in that document, and There is no real way around this. This is pretty cut and dry. If they do not see the name and address of the manufacturer, they are going to kick it back. Now, I believe it used to say name, address, website, and phone number, but this one today just said name and address. This is the first invoice that is highlighted. I took the invoice from my email and just used I think it's SnipSnap, and then used the highlight feature on SnipSnap and would save this as a PNG. So this is a Shepherd order. I really did order this back in 2019, Minecraft Evoker packs. I have no idea if this is, I didn't look up the ASIN. I sold out of this a long time ago. But Shepherd is a company that if you are looking to get ungated in toys, they have a lot of toys that will work. Their invoices will work. It's been working for years. I have not had any trouble with them. So if you're looking for toy ungating, I would go with Shepherd or EE Distribution. Beauty items, try Lotus Lights. I'll try and put these all down in the description as well. For grocery items, Frontier Co-op has been working. For clothing, I have heard East Bay will work. Now, I've had one person struggling with East Bay, and about 3 people have had no problem with East Bay getting ungated in Nike, Adidas, etc. But, all of these things are kind of rumors and just passed through the grapevine by sellers like myself that are sharing that information. So I have changed my bill to Will Smith. I hope that doesn't get me in trouble. That was just the name that popped in my head this morning when making a fake name and address. And then I've changed up the sales voice and invoice number. But all I've done is I've highlighted exactly what is in this section right here. So we've got the distribution name, their address, my name, my address. It should match my account. We've got the description, we've got the quantity ordered, and we've got the invoice date. Now, you could digitally add that the ASIN is whatever, ASIN : and then copy and paste that ASIN as a text file, or you could try writing it with your mouse. I am not good with mouse writing. It's pretty bad handwriting to begin with, and add a mouse, it is pretty awful. But right here, this invoice, when I submitted this for a WWE, I did not highlight at all. It looked just like this, and all I did was submit that to Amazon, and it was accepted from, it was from Shepherd for WWE. Now my printer is pretty bad. My printer doesn't love me, but that's okay. It gets the job done for most of the time. And so this is what it looks like when I print it out on my crummy printer. Sometimes if I need a really good copy for things, I used to go to the library when the libraries were open, and they have a really good printer if you're in my boat, like if I needed official documents or we're having bad problems with that. Sometimes my husband or whatnot could print it out I used to be able to print it out at the school or at my husband's job. Anyhow, this is a bad print job. And then I highlighted it with a highlighter and then scanned it with Dropbox and uploaded it as a PNG file. Again, I've written in just a fake ASIN here so that they could see what it is. And this honestly might be a little too bad to submit to Amazon. This would probably be my least favorite way to submit something. Here is a picture of it just with the phone picture. And again, it's really pretty bad, so I would get a better printout to do that. And same thing, just highlight what the important parts are. I've got the ASIN written right there. When you are writing the ASIN, don't get cute. It needs to look exactly like what it is on there. I put little lines through my zeros because Amazon has both O's and zeros in their writing for ASINs, so you don't want the rep on the other end. They've got to be able to read this, type it in, and see, okay, does this Minecraft match the catalog exactly? So this needs to be exact. Now, if your handwriting's really bad, you may want to type that in the comments. Just type ASIN and then type it out so they can copy and paste really easily if you're having trouble writing it and whatnot. Ones and I's are really bad too. So for ones, I always just put a straight line. For I's, I will put the little top and, the hat and the bottom on the I's, and always capitalize like it shows up in the Amazon catalog. Their ASINs are always capitalized letters. This is what it would look like if you're going to point it out. So this would probably be my way if I was going to try and upload kind of a terrible copy. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's going to correlate down here in the comments. I've got 1 is the name and address of the distributor. I'm going to copy exactly what they say here. Again, the reps may be English speaking, they may not. They're paid to go fast, so you don't want to get cute and try to name it differently or anything that's going to be confusing. So I've got 1, name and address of distributor, 2, my name and address, 3, the invoice date, 4, this is the ASIN. I put the title in there too. And then 5 is the quantity order. So when they're looking at this, they can match up. They can take that ASIN, copy and paste it over, and look it up, make sure that the description from the wholesaler matches up. Another thing to note is, let's see here, I bought some My Little Ponies one time and it was a variety pack. So if I were using that to get ungated, that would not be a good one. Oops, and we've got the phone ringing. Just a minute. Sorry about that. We are having a very busy day here and it's just been interruption after interruption trying to get this video done. So I ordered a multi-pack of My Little Ponies, and the description here said something similar, like multi-pack of My Little Ponies, and then the actual ASINs that I was listing off are going to say the pony's name and etc., not a variety pack. So you want to make sure that that description matches up exactly with what you are trying to sell. Sometimes invoices will have UPC numbers on them. This one does not, so it's very important that the description matches up. All right, so we've put down that, and that is kind of the 4 different ways of submitting or doing an annotated invoice that I know of. My top choice would have been, let's see here, my top choice would be submitting it like this. I feel like that's got the most polished look to it. And then my next favorite would probably be this one. My third would be this way. And the 4th would be this way. So there you go. Now let's talk about pictures really quick. If they are asking for pictures, and they might, I've heard of them asking for pictures, they want all 6 sides of the product. Do not submit internet pictures. Don't submit Photoshop pictures. Sometimes if you are actually holding the product, that's better. They want to see that you physically have the product. They don't want a nice picture that you would put up for a listing or whatnot. They don't want to see your best photographed type of item. So you can forget the light box, forget the photo studio. Don't use any of the apps that erase the background, anything like that. They just want to see you holding it. For a lot of things, they're going to want to see the ingredients to make sure the ingredients are legible and the manufacturer is legible and the expiration date is legible as well. So those are my tips on if they ask for a picture. And that's all I got, folks. That is how I would submit an annotated invoice. But again, try your invoice unannotated first for ungating. See if that works. If it gets kicked back, then you may have to double check, triple check all of these things that I've mentioned before and just try and see where or why they are kicking it back to you. And keep trying, because some people have submitted the same paperwork and one rep will accept it and one rep won't. Do I have a reason why? No. Just maybe somebody's having a bad day, somebody's having a good day. It is the mystery of the Amazon world. So, if this video helped you out at all, go ahead and hit that like button and ask me any questions down in the comments. Take care.